Right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about documents and preparation, before your interview. So we do get a lot of questions about, what should I bring? How should I present my documents, etc. So, of course, you'll want to bring, the all important, your passport, your I-20 from your university or college. Of course, you'll be submitting your DS-160 ahead of time, but you'll want to bring that confirmation page, that barcode with you, and then your SEVIS confirmation documents. Bring all that with you. It's also a good idea to bring your academic records, your transcripts, any diplomas, degrees, test scores, etc. Have all that ready and to hand, handy in case the visa officer asks to see any of it. You'll also want to consider your financial documentation. Who is your sponsor? What sort of bank documents, are you going to bring that show that your sponsor has sufficient resources to sponsor you? Maybe you have a scholarship. If you have a scholarship, make sure that you bring that information and that documentation with you. Maybe you're taking out a loan, so you can bring that paperwork too. So, have a think ahead of time, have everything organized, and have it ready in case the visa officer asks for it. And a final tip is to make sure it's all organized for, really quick access. The worst thing is when someone's sort of ruffling through their folder and can't find, their information, their scholarship letter from their university, and that's something that the officer potentially wants to see. So have it all organized so that you can calmly and very easily locate, your different documents. And just another word about documents. Some consular officers don't actually ask for too many documents beyond the basics, which, of course, is the I-20 and, your passport. This is not a document-driven decision. It is very much based on that in-person interview that you have with the consular officer, those, 2 or 3 minutes, precious 2 or 3 minutes that you have with them to convince them that you're a credible student. So a lot of people say, oh, they didn't ask for my documents. They didn't want to see anything. And the truth is that, some visa officers will ask for documents and some will not. And part of the training is that we are not supposed to rely on these documents. We're not supposed to sort of say, well, if they have this particular special document, then I'll issue the visa. It's not like that. It's more holistically part of the entire picture. And the other thing I would just caution about is make sure that you're not overly relying on documents in the sense that when I was doing this work, people would sort of approach the visa window and they would say, oh, well, I have all these documents here. And then they would just kind of shove them, under the visa window. And that was always kind of off-putting, for all of us consular officers, because we don't want to sit there and go through a bunch of documents. We would just want to ask some questions, get some answers, and if there's something we need clarification on, we might ask for further documents.